Okay, so with that said, ladies and gentlemen, let's please give ourselves a big round of applause for making it to the Palau Music Workshop. Pamela Claude Prosa. Okay, kita mlamo ready lomo lamalway say yung so I'll introduce the typical presenters at first. Malo Paulis, sa Claude Prot. Malo is a global singer, songwriter, music producer, musician, actor, television personality, and so much more. Malo started his singing career in 1998 after years of just being a stage musician. He quickly rose to become one of the most sought-after artists in Micronesia. After his debut album, All of Me, in 1999, things picked up quickly for him from a music scene that was still locked in the old Palau tradition and a few infusions from Japan and old Americana. What Malo brought was something new and fresh. His collegiate education brought him to Tampa, Florida, where he would grow to love blues, R&B, and reggae. These genres helped shape the sound he would create as Malo. All right, so that's our first presenter. Let's give him a big round of applause. Our next presenter is Palau's leading superstar legend, Haley Ri. And if you are a musician, you know that Haley has put out the most albums in Palau. He's a prominent and prolific artist, musician, composer who has been active in the Palau music industry for over 50 years. Haley Ri is not just a music icon in Palau, he is a titan amongst giants. Right?
First approached by Jill about early part last year and talking about doing this workshop. And we kind of got excited with the prospect of what we can cover, because there is a whole wide range of genres in just Palau music, because there's so much that you guys are interested in. I only know a little bit of what Palau music is, maybe like 60s, some 50s, and then that stops there. And then from there up until when I was born, and then up until whatever that present day was. But the thing is, I wanted to know, because I didn't want to be presented in the future with a question about what do you know about Palauan music history, where did it come from, how did it originate, how did it come from this to this to this and to where I'm at now. And I would be stumped without a good answer. Having traveled so many places in the world, I've come across actual cultures who've been faced with the same question and not have a good answer. And it always kind of left the person who was asked feeling kind of down, ashamed, and downtrodden. So I determined that since there were no resources, there were no schools, there were no workshops like this, there was no available tutors, that I would have to find and identify who were these people who knew, and then spend some time with them. Fortunately, a lot of these guys were friendly, and one of them is sitting here. So when I had a question about a song, when I had a question about what it was about, or how to do it right, I would go to guys like Haley. I grew up in a church, and I always didn't understand why everybody was into this kind of really weird, folky type of church music. But skipping forward to where I just finished off, in my research, I found out that a lot of the music that was written for those churches back in England and in the States were the kind of music that you would hear in pubs, where the common folk like you and I would go and hang out and you kind of unwind. That kind of music, then they used to infuse into other genres like gospel music and other stuff. And the whole idea was so that everybody would kind of get melded into one page. Palau is no different, because we've been under so many different administrations and colonial powers. We've almost had a little bit of every colonial nation that's had us. We've had a little bit of German, very little Spanish. Prominently, we have a lot of Japanese and have a lot of American. Back when I was growing up, it was the era of disco, country western, rock and roll, jazz, blues, and of course, this really weird stuff that they played on the radio, reggae. Nobody understood it. But it was good, it was catchy. So coming to understand that that's kind of how the music moved from just the chants into the missionaries during the religious transformation of Palau throughout the colonialisms. And then of course the Japanese with their enka. And then during the war and after the war, they had the ragtime, the big band, and then blues, and then ultimately rock and roll. And then it kind of moved on to kind of where we are now. And if you listen to a lot of Palau music today, we still have ties to those. We still have stuff that's kind of Japanese enka. We still have stuff that's kind of disco. And we have a lot of stuff that's Americana, like country western and then blues and some jazz. And so that's where the Palau music has come. It didn't take anything from the chants and take it and mold it into something else. We kind of boxed that into one category in itself, which is why the chants have not changed in their cadence, they have not changed in their melody, and they have not changed in their significance. I'm sharing this because it's important for you to know when you're learning the music and the video production, to know where your music history comes from, so that in the future, somebody comes up to you and say, "Hey, Ngawakla, how the hell did Palau music come up?" And Ngawakla doesn't have a cricket moment, you know what I mean? You know what a cricket moment is? Yeah. When things go silent, you hear the crickets. Yeah, so I don't want you guys to be asked this question in the future and one of you has a cricket moment. You will have something solid that you can proudly say, yes, this is mine. Because while we did have the influences from the outside, we made sure that it became ours.
Aku start saya aku temu mitak lah aku start mitak lah gal itakliar wa engel tam parking tam Jones.
Ala mitak ka Miguel.
Jani dia aku mitak lah. Saya aku start mitak lah kasi ela na calculate ni siya na. Makuha start dulu sa mitak. Ako tertilbil litak lah tak rurat mo. Nga sige start mo mo ba litak lang ng hotel. So far lang 300 tamatang nila litak.
So sige tagtaman din na karwa keyboard mamulus pa arwa gitar beli ba litak lang ngara ako ra mulus pa nil ruler nga litak le may even may kadto ko kung tasway kadto ko nga gere wala pa ruler nga litak.
Pepila tan sento liba litak nga ka ako mo ta arte style na ako liba litak kung sa pegal di mesh creator music maluwi ka tam rose sindel litak ko gulus ako angkora ay bebelaw so little so kalau si ada kengarang masawat ni cellphone mal ending ni ada pikir ni rasa kana masawat hindi ako martiri ako martiri ako tugol hindi cellphone enda ako oti.
Okay, masigi the time ra start el bro legal litak la tengah bro ser kawel al waser shay namin water ila pag nagtaksilambat. Eventually, keyboard ang lo also Israel sa tiyaro ito ko eh.
Nuwas. Yang nga ako na singitan din na minder was yung keyboardist na. Palawan ay makimitak dia stop mitak. Wa ya gibraru. Gimlera gordra chigo asasa amagan gitu. Agimlora bola be mura API na olbira haluna. Mira ruga Moses sera aldonas. Me ole help para antina tial. Ekpar format me. Meki merda ruga tal para ruko. Ya, albalu ole. Para me club sei ma para tomar muy demás no seguido le yumis mar. Dal oler ni arti bela. Mayu mira masai. Ay mo maki. Maria cuando ni richu kuma. Tiro.
Pupui tiro.
Di mo bandre. Mama tri pro na asel. Di tira mi le ko mama di magotal. Magotal na hindi ka tilo tial album Roma di sigo akasa tial litak klaro. Makita clip reggae seno di time mga salon rin mo organatri ang mga tiyan synthesizer na tayo ba alila jingara melengela ansiko asa saynya tira ngaran tinda chance mo wan tu an kagir mai mo ai mo saya kimu Tiawan tu tulitak ko yung ito ada harukan last stop di ordi telah setiap style. Dia sendan man ko ra ako bali text to bali lagi madai. Bali takling man mong matigil. Yan man lo ay baru dia rumah begini mo ba ya. Dia sih gambaran betul kan.
So nganya kurang tadi kita dulu sadar niya madora walelo hasil magrado ul tiyan telete la other belawa longita kadang tingin asing kurang ara at ko ra cha masel momes at litak rebelaw magra describe ang litak rebelaw ngara magra litak laro liya litak rebelaw
Ngapay uli legal. Kita share pun hotel astronomical cultural exchange. Ara tamlo introduce instrument kerti maya. Timla kamera lu. Hakti dilo resek mama ada bela. Adim lagi mau nitak lah. Jadi beler dilang nitak. Eko mama ni warrior. Dia mau kita dia mau nikah. Aku lagi mau bantu terus.
Oye, ako ra tralo na sertifikan giray ada dila kasi magarama ko mo libo litak la. So sa emer ko ra mas kinabo ko ra tetele la mo libo ay litak la ko sa ko mes emer ko ni emelo so narama mura do swim ang ra to ko di ko sa ko ra amuk medro ko ra ay bebela magara otas pa igal to ko ra ay bebela.
Elasa naka fundasyon na tial meron ala gift dimlak tik palarok para tim lewan sen monok matu itu mo loger naset tip ya litak rana ramo era bok rewor tani roles akbar tim amora mara long lotigira siro mira ya era paguro jangan dia saya lihat kita saya kan sampai itu koi minta oi kalau mes oleh omlut terima dia mentak karena itu main besi